Alright, this is a video for 1VT and 1HT. This one is about the new chapter that we're going to start, and this chapter 6, so you can find that one in part 2 of the book. So hopefully you have this book, right? Now if you open it, it says here part 2. Now remember, we're still working out of the VWO book because there is no English HAVO book, so that's why we use this one. Here's a little bit of text you can read. Here's a content thing. And here we have formulas and letters. This is the chapter that we're going to start with. And well, if you pay attention, if you watch all the videos, hopefully this chapter will be alright. But it is a bit more difficult than the previous chapter. So over here we have the prior knowledge, and those are things that you learned earlier. Like for example, working out brackets and what the order of operations is. And then over here we have evaluating. That means that you know is you get a letter and you know what the letter is, and then you fill it in. Now that's exactly what I want to show you in this video. I want to show you 6, 7 and 8 just to repeat how that's done. So over here on this paper, I printed those out. Here we have exercise 7. It says evaluate. Minus 5b plus 2, 4, b is 8. So if it says something, it says an exercise, but there's a letter and we don't know what the letter is. But then for each of these exercises, we have to fill in a number on the spot of the letter. And one thing that's very important to know, right, is that if you have a number followed by a letter, like 4p, it's actually 4 times p. There's a times in there, but you don't have to write that down. Similar with brackets. If I have 4 times and then 2 plus 3, right, in brackets, then between the 4 and the bracket there's also a times. But that times you also don't have to write down. So over here it's minus 5 times b plus 2. Now if b is 8, then this is what happens. We do minus 5 times 8 and then plus 2. And then we calculate, oh, we don't calculate anything there. We have minus 5 times 8 is minus 40. So this is minus 40 plus 2. So that's minus 38. And that's the answer then. Now if b is minus a half, then we have minus 5 times minus a half and then plus 2. Well, minus 5 times minus a half is 2.5. And 2.5 plus 2 is 4.5. So this is how evaluating works, right? You fill something in. Evaluate, it could say calculate also, because you calculate this for whatever b is. Now if b is minus 5, then we have minus 5 times minus 5 and then plus 2. So that's 25 plus 2, that's 27, right? I didn't write down a step because I didn't have enough room. I think D you can figure out yourself, right? So I'm going to move to exercise 8, because here we have some brackets and some more annoying things in general. Here we have 3 times a plus 2. Now I just told you over here, if you see brackets, then there's actually a times in front of it. So if I'm going to work out a, which I'm going to work out over here, then we do 3 times in brackets, and then 6 plus 2. So then first I have to do 6 plus 2, that's 8. So this is going to be 3. 3 times 8 is 24. And that's the answer for exercise A. If we're going to go to exercise B, then we have minus 2, so I'm going to write that down, and then times, and then in the brackets, 3 times A. Now it says here that A is minus 3, so I'm going to fill in minus 3 here instead of A, and then minus 5. So for this exercise, I first have to work out these brackets, so I'm going to do 3 times minus 3, that's minus 9, and then minus 9 minus 5, we have to calculate what that is. And then we have to multiply that with minus 2. Now this is very important that you write down all the calculations. So you write down the first step, right? You fill things in. You calculate one thing and you'll copy the rest. So this changes into minus 9 and the rest stays as it is. Minus 9 minus 5 is minus 14. So minus 2 times minus 14 is the answer. The answer is 28. Now I'm going to do one more. Let's see which one seems a bit difficult. I think D. So I'm going to show you D, and I'll leave a bit of extra room so I have enough room to write it down. Here it says 2 times A. Now A is 2/3, so 2 times 2/3 plus 8, and then minus, and then here in brackets we have 2/3 minus 16. Alright, so that's kind of annoying, right? Well, 2 times 2/3 is 4/3, right? And then plus 8. And then minus, and then we have to calculate what this is. 2/3 minus 16. Well, then you get minus 15 1/3. Right? Because if you subtract 2/3 from 16, you get 15 1/3. But because the 16 is negative, you get a minus there. And minus minus is plus. So we just have to add everything. So this becomes 4 third plus 8 plus 15 1/3. Well, if you add the normal numbers first, here we have 8 and 15, so that's 23. And then we add the fractions. 4 and 1 is 5 over 3, like that. Well, the 5, you can still take one whole number out of it. So this will be 24, and then you have 2/3. And that's the answer then. And then we're going to go to exercise 9. For exercise 9, we have to fill in a table. Now, for every exercise, you always have to write down a calculation, right? You have to write down calculations, also on a test, otherwise you don't get all the points. But when you fill in a table, you don't have to. You can just fill in the answers. Now, I do have a bit of room below it, so I'm going to show you a few calculations so you know what you have to do. Here it says that when A is these numbers, we have to do this. We have to do 2A minus 5. So for the first one, we already know the answer, but this is what happened. You do 2 times minus 3, and then minus 5. Well, 2 times minus 3 is minus 6, and minus 6 minus 5 is minus 11. So that's why you have that. Right, so this is minus 11, and that goes over there. Now, if I want to calculate the next one, then A is minus 2. So I have to do 2, because the 2 is over there, right, times minus 2, and then minus 5. Well, 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, minus 5 is minus 9. So the minus 9 goes over there. Alright. Now at some point, usually there's a pattern, something that repeats itself. So let's see if we can figure out what the pattern is. First, we're just going to calculate the next number. So we do 2 times minus 1, and then minus 5. Well, 2 times minus 1 is minus 2, and 2 minus 5 is minus 7. So this one goes over there. And maybe you already see what the pattern is now, because here it was 2 higher, and here again it's 2 higher. So here it might again be 2 higher. Let's just calculate this one, just to be sure. I'm going to fill in 0 over there, so 2 times 0 is 0, minus 5 equals minus 5. So this one's going to be minus 5. And like I said, when you fill in a table, you don't have to write down these calculations, but you can if you want to. But you see, indeed, it was plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So here we can just write down minus 3. Here we can write down minus 1. And then here we have 1, and here we have 3. Okay, so hopefully this video is a bit clear for everyone. Right, you have a letter, you just fill something in, and then you calculate what it will be. And this is the start of chapter 6, because in chapter 6 we're going to do a lot with these letters that I mentioned, and also we're going to do a lot with squares. So the next lesson and my next videos will be about squares. And what a square is, it's this. If you do 8 squared, it's 8 times 8 is 64. Right? Maybe you had that in elementary school, then it was called kwadraat. My next video will be about that. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.